Do you guys remember that awesome bit in The Last of Us where you finally reach the Capitol building and Tess reveals that she's been bitten, only for her to then decide to sacrifice herself and stay behind, giving you and Ellie some time as she tries to hold off the approaching military? Well, if you're playing it properly, once you go through the door, you're supposed to just run up the stairs real quick before the military come through and kill you. But what actually happens if you just stay there? Will the military come through that door? Will you just instantly die? Well, what I found out will absolutely blow your mind. Okay, so Ellie and Joel have gone through the door and Tess is on the other side. So in the game, when you're playing it properly, you're supposed to just run up those stairs on the left there, and then you'll probably hear Tess get shot and killed and you come out at the top of the other room you were just in. So what happens if we just stay here? So I figured maybe I'll just stay in this first area for a while and see what happens. And I stood here for a bit, but nothing seemed to actually happen. I couldn't hear any of the gunfight that you normally hear. So I kind of figured that maybe it was a trigger zone somewhere. So I decided to go up the stairs, and then suddenly I hear the gunfight, and then I hear Tess get killed. So at this point I come back to the door and I'm waiting, but nothing seems to actually happen at this point. So I decide to move a bit further up the stairs to see if I can trigger the next bit, because I'm supposed to hear that the target has been eliminated and that she's dead, and then they sort of say spread out. So I move a bit further up, but I still don't hear anything, so I take a while to admire the artwork, and then I approach the entrance to that open area, and then I hear that cutscene trigger.
Target neutralized. She took out 2 of my men.
So at this point, all the enemies are now in the room, and Tess is just immediately dead. That's the first thing we see. Tess is just on the floor dead. You can see her right there. And the door is also open at that point as well, which is quite interesting to note. So I decide to run back and just see if they actually do kick the door in that we closed after that cutscene. So I come back here and I'm just watching it from the top of the stairs, and to my surprise, they actually kick it through pretty quick, and they start coming through. So at this point I kind of panicked a bit, and I decide to just try and hide from them. So I'll go here, and luckily they all just run past me. So there's 4 guards that just run past, and they just go into the main hall of the Capitol building. So they're on the top floor now. So I decide to come down the stairs and try and go in here, and surprisingly, once that door opens, you can actually just walk into this room and actually walk around it as normal. So the room itself, I don't think it's quite detailed as good as the rest of the game, and all the people on the floor have like low res textures, and to my surprise Tess is there as well, and she's got a really low texture character model. It just looks really shit. I tried to get a few nice shots of it, and she's also got like it's a square invisible box around her, so you can't actually get onto top of her. You can't walk over, and you can't seem to like punch or kick or shoot her or anything, because there's like an invisible wall around her just protecting her. So by using the game's photo mode on the PS4 version, I can get a really good shot of Tess, and we can really see just how low poly and low texture quality this model is, because for the purposes of the game, you're intended to only see her from all the way up at the top of the balcony in this room, so she doesn't actually need a big character model. You can see that she actually doesn't even have any eyes at this point, and some of the textures on her face are actually missing from certain angles. So as for the room itself, the front door to the Capitol building is now locked, so you can't actually go back outside. However, you can look through the windows to see a really low poly version of the world outside. It basically looks like a cardboard city, to be honest. It's quite funny to see it. So a lot of the details outside are missing from what you would see when you come into this building. So another weird thing I found was when you throw a cocktail, just look what happens. There's like a weird graphical glitch here, in that the blast radius and glow area of the cocktail is absolutely fucking huge, and it even comes up underneath the floor going into this lower area that I'm in. So another thing I wondered was what happens to the guards at the top. You can fire at them and they will fire back at you, but they will only fight you from the top there. They won't actually come down into this room chasing you. So once I healed, I decided to try and lure them down, so I got to this doorway, and then I noticed another weird graphical glitch that you can see quite a lot in the game. If you stand in a hallway and turn the camera, you can often clip out extra bits of the environment. So I tried to lure them into this room by just firing, and while they would react to the bullets, they wouldn't actually come down. So I got a bit closer and tried to lure them some more, but again, they still wouldn't move. They only seemed to go as far as that, the sort of entrance to that area. Even when running past them, trying to bait them, they still wouldn't come and chase me, instead just firing from that archway. So eventually, I got a bit bored of them, so I decided to just dispatch them all with my revolver and pistol. So with them out of the way, I decided to go back downstairs and see what else I could uncover. And it's here where I found another weird glitch with the graphics in the game, as you can affect the lighting and shadows by moving back and forth near the door. And I thought this was pretty cool, to be fair, as it really changes the location. However, when I was doing this, I also uncovered an amazing glitch. Take a look at this. Whoa, 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 what the fuck happened there? So all of a sudden, the Capitol building and everything around just clips out of existence, and I and Ellie fall into oblivion and die. Holy fucking shit. So after a quite long loading screen, I eventually get put back at this checkpoint, and naturally I run straight the hell back to try and do that again. Well, fuck me, that was awesome. So I get up there and I try to check out the door first, just to make sure that it was actually solid, because I seemed to just fall through it or something. And yeah, it's definitely solid. When throwing a cocktail at it, it actually hits the door and blows up, so you definitely can't just walk through it. However, I noticed that if you approach the door and turn the camera so you've got your back to the door, all of a sudden you just clip through it and fall to your death. So it seems to be if the camera clips out of bounds, then the whole level just gets unloaded and everything just goes to shit. So I tried this a few times just to see what I could do with it, and these are the sort of results I got. So this one here, as I approach, is probably my best one. So I go in and I just hug the right hand side rather, and I just go around that way and slowly approach the door, because I was a bit paranoid that the guards above would shoot me, because they'd been hitting me a few times, and I didn't really want to get shot. I wanted to have the chance to just take my time with it, so I was just being careful, going up the right hand side. I get into that corner by the window, and then I move across. Then once Ellie catches up, I just approach the door and do the same thing. I will keep my back to the door so the camera is facing away from the door, and it will hopefully clip through. And then this one here was probably my best one, because something just unexpected happened. Ellie just dies. Now, if we look at that in slow motion, something else actually happens as well. So I clip through, but I managed to bring it back to the environment before it disappears. So Ellie just dies, but the guards also spawn in, and the whole scene resets for a brief second before it actually just randomly kills me off and reloads me back in.
What? What the fuck?
This absolutely blew my mind. One, that Ellie can just die outright, and then two, that the scene would reset with the soldiers reappearing. And I really wanted to try and get this again, but no matter what I did in all my other attempts, I could just never reproduce that variant of this glitch. Every time I would be by the door, I would just load out and fall to my death. And I don't really know how I did that particular version of it. I tried again and again, and every now and then I would get a new, different way of having something happen, but it would always be just falling to my death, and something funny would happen along the way. So you're just going to see a few of those now, where I've tried to do various things and try and get that initial Ellie dying and the soldiers respawning. So that's just what you're seeing here, multiple attempts of me going to the door, standing right by it, turning the camera around and trying to see if something will happen. I then decided to try and use photo mode to try and help me and just see what else I could see around the environment, and it actually showed me some cool things, to be honest. You can see all of the outside, you can see underneath as well what the textures are at the bottom, and I think you can make out the underground bit there with the subway. I think that's probably where you would come out the other side and you can run down it. So there's a possibility that someone could probably maybe clip through somewhere else in this room and maybe drop down into that section and skip a chunk of the Capitol building. I don't know. I couldn't get through anywhere else, but maybe it's possible because that's right there and maybe you can get into it. So yeah, this was a really cool thing. I love the photo mode for things like this. But yeah, as soon as I let go, I would just fall to my death. But I managed to pause it again, and I can see a bit more of the environment now. So I can see the water. I can see more of the cardboard-looking buildings outside, which is pretty cool. And Joel at this point is just really bright. There's a white light shining on him. That white light, that's just the void. And you can also see all the enemies lying on the floor above. Obviously, the floor has been removed, but I can still see the Capitol building itself. Which I thought was really nice. And then I was trying to just move it around, see what else I could sort of see and sneak a peek at, but there wasn't much, so I let it go. And then I did it again just to see what it would look like now, and I could see more of the environment now from underneath the map. And I thought that was really cool. So I died there, and I went back straight away to try and do it again and just see what else I could try and sneak a look at from photo mode at various angles. So I moved back again, and immediately I pause it, and you can see all the guards look at the top there. Ellie's there crouched, she's okay. And then interestingly, as I fall and Ellie falls, the guards fall, so it must kill the terrain from everywhere. But more funny than that, look at what's happened to Ellie at this point. She's now gone the bald look, and her hair and the backpack are a separate model above her from where she's fallen. And this was another thing that I could only get to happen once, and I even tweeted the devs and the voice actor for Ellie and Joel for this, just to see what they thought of it, but at the time of making this video I haven't had a reply yet, but hopefully I will. So yeah, it's weird. Ellie's now the skinhead witch. You can get this short hair Ellie in Billstown if you do a glitch in there, a skip in there. But I've never seen it like this, where you see the backpack and the hair floating above. And you can also see a great shot there of the Capitol building area and the outside stuff going all the way down. I think that's the whole subway bit down there. So that was a really cool shot. I was quite pleased with how this one looked. It's just a shame that it was really bright light there. Because I would have liked to get a better shot of Ellie. But yeah, you can see all the detail right in the distance there. It's really nice. So that was a good one. And it's interesting how it must just kill the floor everywhere, so everything just falls. Every character in the environment will just fall at that point. So I tried it a couple more times. I went back again and again just to try it a few more times, just to see what else I could do, really. And it's interesting to note that Ellie always grunts as soon as the floor disappears, so it's almost like she just instantly gets killed at that point. Whereas Joel, the player character, he's still alive, he's just falling at those points, so he's still okay at that point until he lands on something. But Ellie just seems to always die straight away, and then she goes into that weird little crouch pose, and it kind of looks like she's either climbing or she's trying to swim through the void. Again, they're both just glowing, and again I can see more of the environment now. I can see the water goes really far across, and even the buildings in the background that are just made to detail the scenery, it's all there. And whenever you fall into the void, you do get a longer loading screen as it tries to figure out what was going on and where you actually were, and it always puts me back there. I could never skip forward, or I could never skip to being back outside the Capitol building before you go into it or anything like that. So unfortunately, at the minute, I can't seem to do anything major with this glitch. It doesn't seem to be an option to skip a chunk of the game or anything like that. So to summarise and recap the whole point of this video, yes, those soldiers who break into the Capitol building do eventually chase after you. They will bash through that door if you wait around long enough, and they will come up the stairs to try and find you. However, if you do manage to hide and get past them, strangely enough, you can actually go back into that room with Tess, and if you do, well, you can find some pretty cool stuff. From a low-res, low-poly version of Tess with no eyes lying in a pool of blood surrounded by an invisible wall, to windows that let you see outside, to a low-poly cardboard city version of the environment, to weird graphical glitches and guards that just won't chase you back down the stairs. It's a load of fun to have a look around. You can see weird lighting effects that change shadows, but best of all, you can fall through the environment if you stand by that door with your back to it and the camera clipping through. This allows you to actually kill Ellie and reset the scene briefly before it loads you back. And if you use photo mode, you can see out of bounds and have a look around the environment and get up to some all sorts of weird tricks. So check it out for yourselves. And as a little disclaimer, while I think this is the first time I've seen it and anyone else has seen it, and I did search YouTube to see if there was a capital glitch video on there, and I couldn't see nothing. So for me, I've found this myself. However, if you're out there and you've seen a video or you've seen this before, fair play, and well done for finding it yourselves. But for me, this was the first time I had seen it, and that's why I wanted to make this video about it. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you can stay with me for the rest of Last of Us month on Super Beanie-man Gaming. I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Until then, stay safe.